So there's a possibility that your car may take longer to build because they shut down the plant and nothing's happened. I'm pretty sure with these being the last year, they will have no problem selling that car to someone else. Someone else will come in behind you and buy that car. So today's video is brought to you by CarLock, the world's best vehicle tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you'll be able to track your car real time, get alerts of anything suspicious happening to your car, such as your car is starting when it shouldn't be starting, any vibrations. Also, if someone decides to unplug your car lock from your car, you'll get a notification for that too. You deserve that peace of mind, and make sure you get your car locked. I do have a discount code for you guys shown on the screen right now. Get 10% off your purchase, as well as 14 days free trial with it as well with that same discount code, man. Get your car locked. You deserve that peace of mind. Let's go ahead and get it to the video. YouTube fam, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in and clicking on this video. If you're new to the channel, please do me a huge favor. Make sure you lock it in and subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of car related things on this channel. We want you around for the long haul, so make sure you lock it in and subscribe to the channel. If you've already done that, I want to appreciate everyone for doing that already and subscribing to the channel. But we're not going to hold you too long. Let's go ahead and get into the topic of today's video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail, so it's now 2023. Happy New Year to everyone that is tuning in. This is my first video for 2023, and we're still talking about Dodge. We're still going to keep it going in that direction for sure, but Dodge is ahead of the game so far this year. Well, actually kind of last year, I should say. As of mid-December, Dodge has started production on the 2023 models, and unfortunately this is the last year for you to get a brand new Hellcat, a brand new Scat pack, brand new RT, anything with a V8. This will be your last year to do so. Kind of hurts to say that, but we are entering the last year. So if you've been following my channel, you know I bought my 2022. I had it ordered, and they were very late. They, as in Dodge, they was very late in getting the 2022s out, and they did not start production on 2022 till almost the end of January. But Dodge has got ahead of the curve this year, and their 2023s are already being built. Some of you guys that have done orders, your car may already be built. We'll say congratulations to you on that. And there's other people that put their orders in and they're wondering, what's going to happen next, how long I gotta wait, things of that nature. And so in this video, I want to talk about the whole ordering process. What can you expect, how long you may have to wait, and things of that nature. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So first things first here, and like I said, I do get a lot of questions about people send me the screenshots of their order trackers and things of that nature, wondering how long it's supposed to certain stages of the build process is going to take. And so I just kind of want to do video with my experience and kind of what I've seen in this whole order process with Dodge, especially going into the last year. And a lot of people are itching to get their cars. I know some of you guys that are in the colder climate, you want to get your car around a time when it's warm so you can actually enjoy it. I know some people get their cars in the winter time. You can't drive it to next year. Unfortunately, I stay in the South, and so we can ride all year down here, but I know not everyone has that luxury. But so this is pretty much what you can expect with doing your order. Of course, the first step with these cars in the order, you go to the dealership and do your order. Now, not every order gets accepted right away. Each dealership has their own set of allocations, which means that they can only order a certain amount of cars in a certain time frame. So if you did your order in a time where allocations were open at that dealership, then your order should be accepted pretty fast. But if not, then your order may be pushed out a little bit longer, or maybe another month before your order is picked up. Now, the size of the dealership and the number of sales they do will dictate how many allocations that particular dealership would get. Larger dealerships will have a lot more allocation than a smaller dealership. So if you have done your order with a dealership that has a lot of sales, does a lot of sales volume, things of that nature, then they have a lot of allocations. Therefore, you should get your car quicker than some of the smaller dealerships that don't do a lot of sales and things of that nature. Now, of course, you can go on Dodge's website to their horsepower locator and figure out which dealerships allocations that they have out there, so that way you know the dealerships aren't playing games with you. But the next part here, this is where some dealerships have played games before, and hopefully you don't, you know, become a victim of this yourself. All right, so when you go to the dealership here, and you do your order, you get a vehicle order number. Now the vehicle order number just means your order has been submitted. It does not mean your car is guaranteed to be built. A lot of times dealerships may play games and say, well, we got allocations, or lie about the allocation they have just to get you to put a deposit down to do an order, and then turn around, they never had an allocation for the car you're looking for. So if you get a vehicle order number, you're not in the clear of getting your car yet, but you are one step closer to hopefully getting it. So when Dodge receives that vehicle order, they're going to look at your specs, what you want on your car, your color, all your options that you want on it. They're going to look at the inventory, what they got coming in and things like that, and they are going to say, okay, based on what we know and what we have to build, can we build this car and for a fact, right? So once Dodge can confirm that based on their stock of parts, based on their scheduling and all that type of stuff, and based on what you want in your car, is once they see that they can build the car, they will issue the VIN number. Once you have a VIN number, that guarantees that your car will be built. The VIN number is the most important number out of all that. That's the only thing that guarantees that your car will be built, because of the fact that these VIN numbers are used by various things like insurance, used everywhere, right? You have to have the VIN numbers for these cars. Since they're so important, Dodge can't just issue out VIN numbers and not build a car. So once you get your VIN number, you are guaranteed to get your car built. But of course, we don't know when, but here's some kind of waiting times that you can expect. So now that you have your VIN number, now one thing I have noticed, that just because you do your order for your car early or late, it doesn't really mean, you know, anything as regards to when it will actually be built. I've seen people do their order after my car, their car's built before mine, and what have you. I have no idea what order Dodge, figures, what order Dodge figures out when to build a car, but that's what they do. And so you can get it quick, you may have to wait, but this next part usually takes the longest and it's kind of unknown, right? So you have your VIN number, and next thing Dodge has to do is schedule to when to build your car, when to put your car on the assembly lines to get it built, painted, all that type of stuff. This, in my case, for me, once I had my VIN number, because of the plans to close, well, actually, let me say this. It took about a month for my car to hit the assembly line after they opened, because they opened late January. My car started the build process at the end of February, if I'm not mistaken. It was built early March. So that whole scheduling time can vary. You can be waiting a month for it to get scheduled. It may be shorter, but really that is the next step here. So there's really not a certain timetable of how long it would take for your car to actually hit the assembly line. But the good news is when your car hits the assembly line to be built, this is the shortest part of the whole process usually. The build time for these cars, I think, if I'm not mistaken, takes about, I think it's 72 hours or 48 to 72 hours, something like that. It doesn't take long for these cars to be built once they hit that assembly line. So you've already waited, maybe a month or so. The build time turns around just like that. After your car is built, it has to be shipped. In my experience, it takes about a month for shipping to complete. It goes multiple places depending on where you are in the United States. My car had to come from Canada, which everybody does, all the way down to North Carolina, and that process took a month, right? It actually sat in North Carolina, I think it was like in Raleigh or somewhere like that. It sat there for maybe about a week before they picked it up and brought it down to Hickory, where I picked my car up. But that shipping process can be about a month, depending on where you are and how many different stages there are for your car to go through. Now, I know in this video I talked a lot about building these cars out, doing your order to get one of these cars, and to be honest, you don't have to do that. As Dodge is building out the orders and fulfilling the orders that they have, they will also be building cars for the dealership stock as well, meaning these are cars that are not ordered by anybody or anything like that. These are just cars to go in Dodge's showroom floors on the dealership lot. So that way, for those people that just want to walk in and buy the car that way, you can do so as well. Now, typically with the cars that I've seen that's sitting on the showroom floor, to me, I feel like they fall in like one or two categories. Like, the cars are either heavily optioned, meaning, they have a lot of options on it, which means the car is going to be more expensive and usually more than what you're willing to pay or want to pay in that case. And sometimes some dealerships will add their own
dealership special options just to kind of bring in a couple extra $1,000s or whatnot. Silly stuff that you don't need but they claim you need, or the cars that are at the dealership lot are pretty bare bones and naked, which will be cheaper, but you're going to be missing a lot of features in those cars, right? So if you want something that you want to get everything in, I definitely would do the order to avoid paying for stuff or missing out on stuff that you definitely want in your car. Now, in some cases with these cars, there are going to be a lot of people that's going to do these orders, and when the car comes in, they're not be able to pick up the car and take it with them, either because of financing or something changed in their life, or they just don't want the car anymore for various reasons. So you still may be able to pick up a 2023 that way. Of course, especially when I said about financing, the interest rates aren't going the right direction. Some people are going to back out because of that, but you can pick up a 2023 that way as well. But also, some people that are going to be picking these cars up may be trading in 2022s or trading in other cars, so you may also be able to take a deal on one of those cars also. So these cars could be out there. You don't necessarily have to order them to get the car you want, but you definitely need to have your options open as to where you want to go to get the car that you want. You may have to travel a little bit to pick up the car you want, but it will be worth it, so that way you get the car that you want and not miss out on things you want to have or should have or have any regrets. Now, since Dodge is using pretty much the same parts they have used for the last few years, and last year they did run into some supply issues. There could be some issues with supply issues this year as well. I remember they started having supply issues during the middle of the year, towards the end of the year, stuff like that. So there's a possibility that your car may take longer to build because they shut down the plant and nothing's happening. So that's another thing to keep in mind as well. If you're still on the fence whether or not you want to do your order or not, this is my advice. This is what I think you should do here. Now, if you, like I said, if you're unsure whether you want to do an order or not, my advice is to go ahead and do the order. Find you a dealership that will refund your deposit. A lot of times you have to do a deposit to do an order, and do it that way, because if you wait too long to try to do an order, you could run into a situation where Dodge may not take your order and you won't get your car, right? The earlier you put it in, the better your chances are for your car being to be built. So if you wait till the end of the year, Dodge may not give you a VIN number, and therefore you won't get your car. Now, you can probably still get your deposit back if you work with a good dealership. Now, the dealership I got my car from, they did refunds on orders. That was last year. This should be the same this year, but make sure you go to a dealership that will refund your deposit if you choose to back out. I'm pretty sure with these being the last year, they will have no problem selling that car to someone else. Someone else will come in behind you and buy that car. So, you know, they'll make their money one way or another. And that is going to wrap up today's video. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. There's something in the video I didn't cover. Feel free to drop a comment below. I'll definitely get back to you. As always, thank you for tuning in, and catch you on the next video. We're out. Cut it.